Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. It seems that you've caught me playing with Diceself. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and whatever time zone it is, whether you in the world, it is your Lord and Saviour, with episode 6 of season 3 of the Playing With Diceself podcast, where this sad British goth boy plays TTRPGs by himself, the TTRPG in question being Cyberpunk RED, the role-playing game of the dark future. And unlike previous seasons, where I've used solo rules of my own creation, we are using the official Cyberpunk RED solo rules, single player mode, a solo play guide, and Game Master emulator for Cyberpunk RED, and this copy was given to me by Aurtakis Storyteller Games for terms as a review copy. So again, thank you ever so much for that, you absolutely goated mad lads. Now, what happened in the previous session? Well, turns out quite a lot, and I have not been able to stop thinking about the previous session and starting this one for a good week now, because our rocker boy, Butterjoy, is quite frankly a psychotic menace, because all the way through this, we have killed a thief of a carjack who we've technically stolen. We have ignored a media to be essentially just left by a gang, potentially tortured, captured, whatever. We have signed up with the military firm Kang Tao, who we're sort of putting out an EP against because they've recently hired a edge runner by the name of Alpha Hound, who's all bulked up and like super slick and fast and powerful, to be as like a figurehead for this new upcoming collaboration between Arasaka and Kang Tao. We have kidnapped a netrunner by Kang Tao, who hired us when we killed our family boss, as you do, to go help with a negotiation between the Skivs gang in Hayward Docks and Kang Tao to try and take over the docks proper. But because we were able to convince our netrunner, who's sort of like this test tube baby sort of thing, that what they're doing is wrong, Kang Tao that is, because they're going to kill the media, and we need the media alive because they've got some footage of ours, well, it will be ours now, I guess, ice rolls pending, that we're going to be using for our EP, for like a music video graphic sort of thing. The netrunner by the name of Bulletspeed was convinced to help us, and with their hacking abilities we're able to turn the turrets against pretty much everybody inside. We killed Satoshi, we killed the secretary, big boss lady of the Hayward Docks as well, by chopping people up with the katana, which has pretty much been the only weapon that we've used. We've killed a guard that was sneaking about, we've stolen their assault rifle, which I will say that when we move on to the next scene, they will just dump onto the media that we managed to rescue, TarotGlow, and then we drive off into the night, dealing with whatever fucking chaos is going to come our way. But before we do that, there's the matter of improvement points. So there's quite a lot of combat in the previous session. I think most of what we did comes over the warrior and possibly socializer, I guess, because we were like doing a lot of convincing with Bulletspeed, the netrunner, which isn't that actual name, by the way. It's not just a handle, because we decided that Kang Tao didn't actually give this netrunner a name. So let's just go through the warrior improvement table thing to see how much of that we can actually gain from that. Use combat skills often, even that would go to them. So I'm going to say it's going to be 55 so far for the warrior style. Let's have a look at the group, I guess, because we're like working together with somebody here. Looking at the group ones, it's interesting because technically speaking we failed the mission in terms of like the one that was set to us by Satoshi, but we did manage to achieve our own personal goals of saving TarotGlow, our media. Fuck it, it's my game, I'll do what I want. So 55 plus 60, I don't know, maths, it's 100 and what, 15? So 115 improvement points I'm giving myself to that, which on top of the, what was it, 50 that I had, takes us to 161. Do I increase my melee weapon to 5? You know what, as that's pretty much the skill that we've been using, I'm going to knock that up to 5. So without further ado, I think we can actually get stuck into this chaotic opening scene. So imagining this like a scene of a movie or TV series with all the explosions, the fires, and God knows what else is going on down there. Sort of like speeding along, perhaps like some trees or something down the side, all dark, just flooring it as fast as we fucking can. And the first thing I want to check is with the Oracle is like, are we being chased by anyone? Now I don't think that we are, because from how we left things, it was pretty much all hands on deck. I don't think that anyone would have really noticed that we came in, fucking stabbed Satoshi in the head and stole the media. Kidnapped them, I guess, rescued, whatever. It depends on the perspective, I guess. So I'm going to say that this is impossible, quite frankly. As I said, I think it's like very unlike anybody who was paying any sort of attention to the finer minutiae of things. That is 25, which is... No, cool. Thank fuck for that. We don't have to worry about any fucking wild car chases. So, I'm in the driver's seat, like, flooring it as fast as I fucking can. Within reason, you know, wanting to be a complete menace about things. Butterjoy would have, like, got the media to get into the back of the car with, like, most of the armours going on. Like, chucking in the assault rifle and any of the fucking ammo, so we don't have that anymore. Bulletspeed, who I'll try not to get their name confused too much in this video, because I noticed when I was editing the previous one I made that mistake quite a lot. You just have to pay more attention to know what I'm talking about. They're sitting in the passenger seat, like they've got their pistol in their hand and they've completely had their world turned upside down, I guess, as like realising that they've not been lied to and deceived and whatnot, and like white knuckling the steering wheel, just like going like, whoa, that's fucking intense! Oh, like, really feeling a whole rush of different emotions. I imagine at TarotGlow at some point it's just going to go, right, who the fuck are you? It's like, Butterjoy, I've just rescued your sorry ass. Yeah, I can see that, but how do I know that you're going to take me to somewhere else? Listen, he tucks up the rear screen mirror sort of thing, or maybe like a screen on the cars we talked about in the previous session. Look, I've been trying to find your ass for the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to fight against Caintown. The only way I can get to them is working with them for a little bit. They're going to kill your ass. You don't think I don't know that? How do I know that you're fucking telling the truth? Bruh, you're just going to have to trust me here. Does TarotGlow trust them a little bit with all that enthusiasm, that energy? Just because of the way that I've just portrayed them, I'm going to go with unlikely. You know, I mean, I have just given them a fucking assault rifle, I guess, but we'll use that as a persuasion thing in a moment. So let's see. I'm going to say this is unlikely. That is 57, which takes us to complicated. Okay, that's acceptable. They're not quite too sure. They're just sort of on the fence about it. Just sort of like, you can't really trust anybody in Night City. Everybody's just like one bit of, everyone's got a price, you know, so to speak. So they're just sitting there. I mean, we have just saved them. We did like stab somebody through the fucking head to get to them. And I think, actually, can I see just how torn they are? And I think that's where we're going to use the human perception. I'm going to say this is a little difficult, and I nearly dropped the dice then, just because with that, on the Oracle thing we rolled complicated, so I think they may be trying to hide their intentions a bit more. So I'm going to say this is difficult. So that's a DV of 15, human perception. So it's not too difficult for us. 3, which takes us to 16, which is just over. So narratively speaking, I think we're having a bit of unsurety about their facial expression and mentioning the gun thing. Butterjoy will just go, look, I've just given you a fucking assault rifle, you know, to protect us with. Do you really fucking think, if I wasn't here with your best interests in heart, I'd have given you the gun that could take us both out in seconds? Right, fine, you got a point. Sorry, it's just can't fucking trust anybody in this city. And who are you? And I don't think Bulletspeed is actually just going to respond. They're just sort of like clam up. It's like, hey, I said, look, don't give him a hard time. Don't give him a hard time. I've been stuck in there for the last 2 fucking weeks. Who the fuck do you think you are? Look, turns out Bulletspeed here's a little different. Different how? I think he'll kind of look, and he'll stop and turn. I don't want to speak for you, so please interrupt me if I'm getting any of this wrong. but I'm getting the impression that you sort of lived your whole life with Cane Tower, right? Will Bulletspeed say anything to that? Now, I think they're a bit trusting from Oracle rolls of the previous session, so I'm going to say that it is likely that they'll say something. If only if there was like a middle point in this specific circumstance between likely and 50-50, but there is not, so that I'm absolutely fine with that, so let's go with likely. That is 95, so that's a yes. I think they'll be very shy with it. Well, not shy is probably the wrong word. I guess traumatized and reserved. Just something to the effect of, I was taken as a kid and they accelerated my growth. All I know is net running for Cane Tower. And I don't think that was anything that Butterjoy was expecting. And there's just this silence other than the hum and the rumbling of the car, the drive. It's like, okay, I was not expecting that. Okay, so with the rifle in their hand, Butterjoy, not Butterjoy, sorry, TarotGlow just sits back. Okay, and they now start clipping the rifle, now realising the severity of the situation. So you rescued me and you've stolen Cane Tower property. Yeah, also killed their fixer. And I think at that moment, as they're playing through their minds, like, oh god, I killed the fucking exec that was there as well. You what? There was just people running out and they just had a gun to my face and I just sort of chopped at anyone who got in my way. Is there anyone else I should know about? I mean, they killed the boss of my nomad family. Oh, fucking hell. Is there anyone in Night City that's not after you? I mean, not that I'm aware of. Right, okay. If you at least got a safe place to take us. No, because I don't think I should go home. At least not for too long. I live in a complex, so basically all of my family lives. And I haven't been there since I've been out of hospital. Wow, okay. So why exactly did you rescue me other than to put my life on the fucking line? And Butterjoy will just go, well, as I said, I've been wanting to try against them. There was the big old talk theme with Alpha Hound recently. It's a scumbag. Like, he was meant to be one of us, and he's been fucking bought out and borged up by the fucking Cane Tower. I didn't even think they had that much money, all things considered. I think it's... I'm not even going to do an Oracle roll with this. I think the TarotGlow will actually know they're being funded by Arasaka. What? Arasaka? I didn't think they were allowed in Night City anymore. It doesn't mean they can't get any money from outside, you fucking idiot. That's why I was there, because there were people of Arasaka there. That's the footage that you're... That was the information they wanted. They don't want people to know that they're working with Arasaka just yet. Holy shit. This is much bigger than my fucking EP. I mean, and I think... Will TarotGlow catch that? No, I'm going to roll for it with like an actual roll using the combat number of 6. Because I rolled really fucking lowly with that one. So they've got all this font of information, but they're not particularly... Actually, I'm just going to retcon that a little bit. I'm going to bump that up to 16. Because I think they're going to be a real fucking disadvantage all the way through this, if I just have it that low. So yeah, let's... I'm going to say that this is fucking simple. There's no fucking way. I just think it'd be funny if they didn't catch that. 4. Oh, well, they got it anyway. And Taro goes like, wait, your EP? I'm a rocker boy. And he puts a little devil horn so you can see him in the rear screen. I've been working on like these Barber Beat albums, you know, to make people wear this shirt. The incident with Alpha Hound with wanting to use some of the footage that you had. Then I found some footage of like some murderable star who's pretending he's disabled, you know, like he's taking advantage of people, you know, beating, and he waffles on a little bit about the activity work that he's done that I'm not going to go through now, purely because I didn't decide at the time. And I got a bit to do with my family because they tried to fucking kill me, you know, the fucking corrupt car cult that they are. And now, and he points to his head because he's recorded the whole fucking murder spree. I think he recorded the whole thing, but he's going to be using the murder spree with the skivs and Satoshi, like the stabbing in the head. That must be a real fucking visual sight to see. Like exposing the skivs and the corruption going on down there. And he like points to you. So I was hoping that if you still have that footage, if I could use bits of it for my EP, for sampling and shit. Now here's the question. The big ass question. Is TarotGlow going to let them do this? I'm going to say this is likely. We're moving up from the 50-50 unlikeliness of them being a bit reserved, but as they're working for a similar goal, making people aware of this sort of collaboration between Arasaka and Cantel, I think it's likely that they will allow them to use that footage. Obviously not without a price of some description. So let's see if they'll be willing to do that. And of course this is the point where I roll a fucking no, isn't it? So we're going to say this is likely. Let's roll. 13. No. Of course, we can try and convince them of persuasion thing, but when he's talking about, that's like, I don't think you're treating this very fucking seriously. This isn't a fucking game. This isn't like a mean to get your fucking leg over in the music world. And he said, he looks up at him or down at the fucking rear screen. What the fuck are you doing it for then? And before you tell me, TarotGlow, that you're doing it to get the fucking truth out, don't fucking tell me that you don't get a fucking buzz about letting people know all this. Don't think you get a little fucking buzz being a little fucking celebrity. Don't think that you know that as a reporter you want people to take you seriously. So don't pretend me that it's all just for the good of people, especially the fact that you are in Night fucking City. I'm going to roll a... I'm going to make this a contested roll, actually. I'm going to roll my persuasion against their combat number 6, or as I said, the 6th roll. That's a 4. So what is that? That takes us up to 15. Now let's roll 4. TarotGlow. That landed on the floor, so that does not count. Typical. So let's try that again. That is 1. So we roll that again. 2. So that goes what was it, 16 to 14, so I just managed to convince them. So they're clearly not happy with that. Not terribly moved by it, so they're a bit more hesitant. Like, okay, you got point, I guess. Fuck you. And then clips the rest of the ammunition back into the gun. Thank you. I promise you that I am doing this for the right reasons. Yeah, I want people to respect me as a musician just so that they can hear my message. They want to hear my fucking story. I'm not doing it just for the fame and money. Which is true, but there's a huge amount about him that is just in it for the fucking money. And I think at that point, with all the conversation going, there's a bit of a pause. You can, like, cut the fucking tension with a knife sort of thing. And Bulletspeed will just go, what's the plan then? You can't go back home. Do you have anywhere safe to go? I suppose you're going to have to stay with me for a little bit as we try and sort this fucking mess out. And he looks towards Butterjoy and says, is there anything that you need from your place? Actually, that's a good point, because he took the laptop with him to the hospital. The thing that happened at night, is the laptop in the fucking car with him, like under like in a glove compartment sort of thing? I think the fact that we've just established he can't go back home, I think he's already made the commitment that he's like leaving. Like there's like this fucking room that they've already paid the rent for that month. So yeah, I'm gonna say that's likely. That is 30, which gives us complicated. You know what? I'm not vibing with that. I can't think of anything to do with that, so I'm actually going to just roll that again. Which you should always do with solo stuff. Like, if you roll something in Oracle, like some word prompts, you're not getting anything, roll it again. That is 74, which gives us... yes. So, yeah, he did bring the laptop with him, and I'm assuming, like, he's somewhere in the boot, whatever. There's all of the clothes that he needs and other bits and pieces, and etc. and so forth. So, no, I've got everything. I've got my clothes and shit in the back. So where we're heading, where is he headed? So we come to the Oracle, and I know there's like a maps thing which I've all printed out and in this little folder here, and I also printed out my NPC Quick Hack creation process, which I forgot to do last time, which I still can't get over that I managed to fucking forget that. That was the reason why I was sorting all that out. Anyway, let's just go to locations and see where it is that we're having to drive for TarotGlow's home. So in the Night City district, Let's just roll a D100. That is 28. I'm going to do that again because that's the Hayward Docks. No, we're not going back there. Well, there's some real fucking Stockholm Syndrome stuff. Oh, wait, that was 90 on the D100. 95 takes us to Old Japantown. Okay. Now, that's supposedly in the Atlas, but there aren't any fucking page numbers in there. Artel fucking Muppets. I'm going to assume that, because I hadn't decided previously that TarotGlow is Japanese, which I'm actually going to write down. Okay. If I can find it on the map, it's probably appeared on screen here, which I should probably have a look at myself.
Moments later.
So having a look at the map and where Hayward Docks is, there isn't actually that, in terms of distance, we're not driving too far away from things. Having a look at Rancho Coronado, which is where our home is, we'd sort of like drive up at like 1 o'clock-ish past the industrial zone, Hayward Docks, the San Moro Bridge, and turning at a left and ending in the old Japantown, which is sort of neighbouring Little China and the old combat zone as well as the Glen. But it's also not too far away from the hot zone, which is where Johnny Silverhand and co nukes like the corporate plaza zone. Okay, so I'm imagining that to be a little nicer, I guess. So I imagine as we're driving in from Night City, I imagined like Rancho the Coronado to be fairly dark with like the amber lights, not having too much like the bright visible neon districts that you would usually associate with a cyberpunk setting, because there seems to be like a bit of a shithole. But then we drive into Old Japantown and just like all sorts of iconography. So just moving the perspective to Bulletspeed, they're sort of looking up at all the different lights, just sort of like sort of taken aback by all, like how pretty it is, how different it is, that they're not usually used to seeing that sort of environment, that they're usually just, if it's not like the bright LED, like a Sky Rain, like clinical clean sort of environment, they don't really see much of the environment around them, so there's all just a bit of a new surprise to them. And I think that Butterjoy like misinterprets this sort of reaction of curiosity, where and he sees it as fair. Like, he instinctively like puts his hand on them and said, "It's okay. Like, we're gonna be okay." But how do they actually react to that? Because I can't see them ever getting a lot of like physical contact on any level, unless it's a more physical, violent sort of thing, just because of the nature of their work. I think they'll be surprised. Maybe some weird mixed feelings inside. I think they'll be surprised. There's also every chance that they may not like that. So I will say that it is because of the slowly trusting nature that they are having with us, that we'll say that it is likely that they'll just feel surprised. So we're going to get with that. Again, 95, which is, yes, they're just surprised, and like they sort of jump out of their skin, and it's like, oh, sorry, I don't mean to make you jump. It's like, it's okay, so I wasn't expecting it. And as they're like slowing down, like moving around like the bright, vibrant streets, and perhaps it's called Old Japantown, I'm sort of like thinking like a smaller, like Little Italy sort of thing, like Chinatown and like other city things. It's a lot more smaller, compact, a bit more of a vibrant community. Maybe there's like some well, I imagine for Butterjoy's perspective, this is like fucking heaven. This is like him going to fucking like Tokyo or Shibura or Shibura, or how it's fucking pronounced. And like little stores every night, it's like anime things all around. He's trying his best to keep his calm a bit because he doesn't get to come out here very often. And he's like, okay, where do we need to go? And TarotGlow gives them some directions. And I don't think they have a particularly huge apartment. Maybe they do. Do they have huge living accommodations? I don't think they do. But let's just roll on the oracle, which I think that is going to be unlikely. That is 40 exactly, which is no. Which is fair. It's not a huge thing. It's kind of a small thing. I think he parks the car around the back, trying to make it a bit discreet. It's discreet as a fucking huge Militech vehicle will allow. He'll get out, like TarotGlow unlocks the door with like key code things. They head upstairs, all very tight and compact. Probably a bit of a musty smell. I am imagining he lives like a part of like a fast food restaurant sort of thing, with like some Japanese food, which is sort of making But Butterjoy really happy and excited, but you know, at the same time he's rather conflicted in his emotions, being quite nervous and whatnot. He's like keeping a very close fucking eye on Bulletspeed with the whole fucking test tube baby shit. Going into the apartment, it's small. There's like a couple of sofas and settees. Like, all right, well, don't make too much of a mess, please. You're obviously sleeping on the fucking sofa. Yeah, we'll try and sort this out, I guess. And I think as they're trying to like put things together in their mind as some sort of plan, he's gonna turn to Bulletspeed and just say, "I'm sorry if this is gonna come across as wrong, but I can't take any fucking chances. Do Kane Tao or Arasaka have any like fucking chips in your heads? I don't want them fucking having a war in my fucking home. Do they? It's possible if they are as well as I had like hyped them up to be in terms of net running. They could like have some like chip in their head. But at the end of the day, they're just another fucking resource, and they're really going to be risking all that much money and attention just to keep them all on tabs, as it were. I guess I'm going to roll 50-50 and see if they've got anything in their fucking head. And obviously, I don't want them to. So, yeah, let's roll and see what we get. We get 29, which is no with a complication, which I think makes some sense. They don't have anything in their head. So Bulletspeed just sort of shakes her head. I don't. And TarotGlow would say, how would you know that? I just do. But they will probably come looking for me at some point. I mean, it does make sense, I guess. Assuming that with the fucking chaos that happened back there, that they presume that there's anybody left to go looking for them. So I guess you've just got to keep a low profile for the time being. I don't suppose you all look the same. I said I was stolen as a kid. I wasn't grown in a lab. The two of them sort of like staring at each other a little bit. I'm sorry for any of the danger that I've put you both in. And Butterjoy feeling a bit on the protective side of things. No, you don't have anything to apologise for. If anything, it's me. Like, I brought you here. I didn't have to listen to you, though, did I? But you did. And by point to TarotGlow, you did listen, and because of your humanity, they're alive. Could be for another day, another week, but you saved a good person, one of your exposed criminals. That this company are stolen kids. Are they even? They could be stealing more. Are they stealing more? And Bulletspeed know this. Well, I think the first question is to ask: are they stealing more kids for this net running thing? I would say this is fucking likely. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't be if that's what they're doing. 56. Yeah, 56. So likely is yes, just straight yes, no complications. Next question: does Bulletspeed know this? Well, if they know they don't have a fucking chip in their head, I think it's likely that they may know that they're other netrunners. I mean, they would be associating with them, so I think there'd be new ones that are being bought in, so I think it's going to be certain that they do know this. 75 gives us yes. They do know that. Bulletspeed said, I'm just another asset. They are continuing to steal children from poorer families, people who won't be missed. And Joy's like, fuck. Children. Like, they couldn't even fucking put them in a fucking test tube or something, like, manufacture. They have to steal people. TarotGlow's like probably getting undressed with some of the clothes that they're wearing, you know, just to, you know, because they've been in those same, because they've been in that same outfit of clothes for like 2 weeks now, presumably. Not really caring much about how exposed, revealing they are. I'm not saying they're going to get completely fucking naked, but, you know, like, they're far more important things to be worrying about. TarotGlow will say, well, it's cheaper to steal than to grow. And she'll sort of like just shrug, just looking really fucking angry with all of this. Just, I mean, with that in mind, maybe they won't come looking for you. Oh, don't be so fucking naive, Butterjoy. They're at least going to find out what happened to them. They're going to find all those fucking bodies there. And they're going to find that their netrun has disappeared. They're going to find that you've disappeared. I mean, there is beef with the skivs and me, right? Surely some of them are going to scatter. And I think they're going to, like, talking backwards and forth like this, just sort of basically getting nowhere with it, just knowing that at some point Kang Tao is going to come looking for them. And with that, I want to roll forward the time a little bit just to see how much time has passed. I'm going to roll 3d6 just to determine the number of days, just to spice things up a little bit. And then we can like determine like everyone's moods of each other, etc. and so forth. So we've got 1, 4, and 5, so 10 days have passed. Right, so it's not even 2 weeks. So we're sort of like middle, late November now at this point. I'm going to roll on today's weather, because I think that's just a fun thing to do. So September to November, I'm going to roll a d6 to determine what the current climate is. That's a 5, so I think it's what we got last time, so it's warm, around 21 degrees. And then I'm going to roll again for the current conditions, which is 6. Go to strange weather. Right, so what does the strange weather entail? 1. Radioactive windstorm. 1d6 times 10 minutes. Okay, that's interesting. So how many minutes is this going on for? So 30 minutes. So we obviously can't go outside for a little bit. And us being like near the hot zone, being in Giant, we're sort of getting like the full fucking force of this. In those 10 days, I'm just going to roll to see what we've been up to, like keeping a low profile as best that we can. But bullet speed, nearly made him blunder there. I mean, it's the only one I'm aware of making so far. Has been keeping to themselves, not really doing much. Maybe looking through some computers and whatnot. I'm going to do the Rocker Boy Hustle table in the Corebook twice. One for the week just gone, and then maybe something that we did last night. 5, opening gig for a big name group, which gives us 300 Eurobucks, which is nice. I'm not going to roll them for the rest of it because they're just NPCs. I don't think they're too important here. And 5, fucking hell. I imagine that we did like some big old group that moved through, and we were their opening act twice. So we got 600 Eurobucks for that, which is pretty neat. Finally, it's looking up in the fucking world, and I've probably just jinxed it. We're now going to also determine how well we came up with this 5th track. Is it a 5th track? Yeah, 5th track. The whole fucking... No, sorry, it's the 4th one, because this one was the one with the skivs. I just wrote that as a preemptive thing because I was just so excited. So, it's another performance roll. And I think with all this footage and things to sample from, I'm actually going to say this is simple. And how inspired us just to get this fucking album off the ground. I've just stopped to think because I could take this as two... No, we're just doing this as one track. I'm not going to stretch it a little bit. This is going to be a composition roll, so not performance. I was thinking World of Darkness for a moment. Basically, if I roll a 1, it's the only word that I can't do well with this. 8, so 18, so yeah, we're just sort of like in between or everything, we're just like working on this track. So we've got the 4th one down now. Lovely stuff. Bullet speed is like curious about what they're doing, like seeing all the different displays in their laptop, all the little waveforms and shit. They've probably seen some of this before, like hacking and like monitoring conversations, sort of looking at headphones like bobbing along, probably like some bleed from their headphones. I think Butterjoy like just tell them a bit more about what they're doing and making the music. I imagine there was some form of fancy splitter like headphone thing where you can like plug a bit in and they can put on some earbuds and they can hear that even though he's got like the cans going on. Just stretching the technology a little bit to see what makes sense, or something along those lines where they can hear what he's doing. Like, and Butterjoy is like making some very exaggerated like choices with the mixing just so they can hear what's going on. And Bullet Speed is like just sort of, you know, really taking that on board. I imagine that all the way through this, well, up until this moment in time, they were wearing like a net running outfit, like sort of the one that you see in the core books. But I think because of that, TarotGlow and or Butterjoy probably gone out and bought them some Janelle chic, I believe it's called, like some very casual clothes to wear. So it's not just like fucking zip zoot sort of thing, so they can just look a bit more fucking human. Still got the net running suit, of course, but you know, just to make them a bit more low casual. Maybe let their hair go down a little bit. And as I'm doing this sort of like casual interaction stuff, I'm just sort of beginning to play onto my mind that, and how protective Butterjoy's being with Bullet Speed. And maybe there's a little fucking emotional stuff happening here. But I want actually to see what the emotional responses of Bulletspeed, because I think it's quite likely that Butterjoy is actually beginning to feel some sort of intimate emotions with them. And I'll do this with an oracle roll for Butterjoy. Does Butterjoy is beginning to fancy them a little bit? And I actually think that's likely. So let's roll that on the D100 table. We got ourselves an 88, which gives us... Sorry, complete brain fart. That's 48, not 80. I don't know what I was fucking thinking there. That's... yes, with a complication. So they've got feelings there. Of course, feelings are always complicated, are they? I just think they're just feeling really unsure about asking them out. Like, really plainly, like, if it was just yes, they're going to, like, try and take them out and push a bit further. But I think with everything that's going on, maybe because of their upbringing, then maybe they just don't know how to experience that sort of thing. I know I'm being, like, really fucking judgmental here, but I'm just trying to think what makes sense within the narrative. I think that TarotGlow may notice. I'm going to roll for them using their combat number. The standard difficulty, which is 13, to see if they actually notice that there's some sort of feelings, at least from Butterjoy's perspective. 2. Yeah, they notice that maybe something's going on, which I think they may have mixed feelings about. I think on the one hand, it's always nice to see, like, people, like, getting close and being intimate. But at the same fucking time, with everything that's going on in their worlds at the moment, this is very fucking dangerous. So we're now going to come over to the emotions table, because just to spice things up a little bit, which is on page 56, okay. Let us see if we can determine the general mood state of Bulletspeed. So let us grab our D100s once more and see what we roll. So we roll 55, which is giddy. Okay. That could be interpreted in a couple of ways, so let's roll again. And 16, which is aroused. Right, okay. Giddy and aroused. So I think we can definitely assume that there's some strong emotions there, and I think TarotGlow sees that as well. And I imagine that coming back to the present day, getting up one morning... It's TarotGlow that gets up in their apartment, they're wandering around, you know, just like yawning, like getting something to eat. I imagine that they see Butterjoy. That's just giving me an idea. What if... So there's 2 potential tracks I can do with this. I could do the whole fucking thing with the skivs being corrupt with Militech. The skivs' potential... And the confrontation with Kang Tao and the skivs and some of the information that we could acquire from that. But what I was originally going to say, part of that could be connected to the stealing fucking kids for the whole Kang Tao test tube baby thing. So track 4 is to do with the skivs. I'll do it the way they did it. The skivs Kang Tao fight with the footage that we have. 5 will be Militech. You know, this big American company hiring gangsters, essentially hiring the mafia. Track 6 is going to be about Bulletspeed and the whole fucking test tube baby thing. And that's what we're going to do now, as they're sitting by the window with the whole fucking rad storm going on. Because again, we use like the dirt storm thing as like an inspiration for our family. We're using the rad storm as like, I don't know, like some sort of radiation science sort of thing that's going on. I think that's really interesting that the natural environment is acting as such a constant source of inspiration for this Barber Beats guy. So we're going to do a composition roll. Again, I'm going to say this is a simple difficulty because they're riding the tailwinds of their anger and their love, like coming up some sort of like all their bits of sampling and whatever. So let's do the composition roll again. That's a 7, which gives... Yeah, we fucking done it. I don't even know why I fucking checked that. So, bang. They're sort of like really in the zone headphones. We're not really aware that TarotGlow's coming out. I imagine that this one's a bit more jazzy, slower beat sort of thing. Compared to everything else, they can hear some of the bleed that's going on. And I want to see what TarotGlow's beginning to think of Butterjoy and roll the general well-being, mood, whatever that TarotGlow is having towards Butterjoy as they're now... They've been in their apartment for 10 days. I think Butterjoy is the sort of person to be completely, like, lay about, fuck about, whatever. Like, in his bag and things, he bought, like, his valuable, like, weeaboo shit. The stolen plushie as well. It's all, like, in a bag and things. Like, I can't imagine having, like, a huge amount of memorabilia in his little pod. But I find that collectors of things do know how to look after their shit. So he would generally look after and keep the place clean. So I don't think that if TarotGlow likes them, it's not going to be for that sort of thing. They're not going to be a layabout is what I'm saying. So 80, which gives us the result of motivated. Okay. Well, I'm seeing that as a positive. Like, they're beginning to have some like more pleasant emotions toward Butterjoy that actually, despite being this weird fucking weeaboo who for some reason has got cunt shaved into their heads, and from that I don't think they've actually gotten round to asking about it. Despite this like jokey persona, he actually has got his shit together a little bit. He does help out. You know, like, he clearly does care. He clearly's got his heart in the right place, sort of thing. And he's like, and they are maybe wanting to encourage this emotion, these emotions that Butterjoy is feeling toward Bulletspeed. So they're going to go over and like little pat him on the shoulder, and Butterjoy's going to like, oh, fuck, you scared the life of me. You been up long? It's like, no, I was just getting a drink. What are you working on? Oh, I'm just working on a track for the album. It's like, yeah, it sounds a lot different to the other two that you've been working on. What's it about? I think she like tripped. I know I just tripped over my words, but I think that she trips over her words as well. Like, what's it about? Does Butterjoy pick up on that? I don't think Butterjoy would, personally. So I'm going to make this as a professional DV of 17. What would that be? Human perception, I'm going to put that under. 10. Fucking hell, they noticed that, alright. I think because they're trying to like conceal their emotions a bit more, not want to let things out in the open, like as a weak spot sort of thing. Yes, they notice that, alright, so... Okay, this is how I'm going to think about this. They pick up that they said who, but they're not suspicious in wanting to correct them. So I think they'll just answer honestly and go, oh, it's about Bulletspeed. And he pauses and just... A bit of it's to do with the whole situation with, you know, test tube baby stuff. And he sort of clams up a little bit. TarotGlow just sort of like grins a little bit. Aww, and punches him on the little arm, like sitting on the opposite end of this little table by the window. You fancy them then? Like, I guess I do, yeah. They'll sort of lean forward, they're like a cup of joe in their hand. Actually, there's a food table in here. What is it that they're actually eating or drinking? Yeah, so let's roll a d10 to see what flavour is their Tritty Fizz drink. 3. Cherry Jumbo. Paint your tongue scarlet. Okay. Do they have any food with them? I think they would have like grabbed a fucking snack. Let's roll a d100 to see what kibble they have. 80 again, which gives us pineapple pizza. Does pineapple belong on pizza in a kibble bag? So they've got a little bag of things, the fucking pineapple pizza logo or whatever it is on it, like a little drink. Does Bulletspeed actually have a name at this point? Because I think at this point they would have need to give Bulletspeed a name. And I think by this point, TarotGlow would probably have a name as well. 46, so TarotGlow's name is Jolene, 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 Jolene. Because we've sort of decided if anybody's going to be like the truest definition of non-binary, it would be them. 66 for them, and they have Morgan. I like that. They went with the name Morgan. So they sit down, opposite end of the table, with their drink and kibble bag with pineapple pizza flavouring. They'll lean forward. I can tell you now that Morgan's feeling pretty strongly for you. Like stop from the recording because like half listening to this music. What? Yeah. I can't believe you hadn't heard of them in the night. What? Like leans forward and just putting their finger on their lips. Why do you think they spend so long in the bathroom? How do you know it's to do with me? Oh, come on. Who else do you think it's about? Dude. When the storm passes, I think you should go and take him out. You know, show him around the town, like have something, do something fun. You think that's a good idea? You know, just leaning on the complicated emotions idea from previous. Like, look, we can't stay up here forever, and at some point we are going to make a move on Cane Tower. You know this, right? We have to take the fight to them and just show them that we're not going to fuck us about. We're going to do something about the alpha hound situation. And but Butterjoy's having that realization, just remembering, I guess, what he was actually meant to be doing. He's gotten quite comfortable doing the music. Like, oh, yeah, well, we'll work about that We'll work on some sort of plan tomorrow. Or maybe the day after, depends if we get another one of these shitty storms. But when the storm passes, take them out. Have fun. You only live once after all. Like, that gives a little affirmative wink and a nod as they begin to open their bags. Like, Butterjoy, what flavour's that? That's pineapple pizza. You want some? Do they like pineapple pizza kibble? I know that's a really fucking silly thing to roll, but I like pineapple on pizza, but they may not. So we'll go with 50-50. 91, so yeah, they do. Yeah, I'll fucking have some of that. How do I approach it with them? Well, just be honest. Like, we'll go out with them. Have some fun. Go on. Are they awake? They're in the bathroom at the moment. Alright, we'll get them when they come out. So, not wanting to roleplay the awkwardness of that too much, I'm just going to get to the question, does Morgan, Bulletspeed, be eager to go out on some form of date with them? As they're feeling all giddy and aroused in the presence of Peter, Rockerboy. I'm going to say this is absolutely certain, but, you know, there could be that very small chance that, oh, they may not think it's a good idea, like they're trying to be coy or whatever, but, you know, you never fucking know. So that is 87, so, yeah, that is a yes. They're very fucking keen to go out on this sort of date with them. I've got their clothes and ready with the storm passes, they bid them farewell. You know, bit of getting ready and a bit of a conversation with Butterjoy I feel would have with Jolene / TarotGlow. Jolene will go, I'm going to try and, you know, get us meeting up with some people so we can make a push on Cane Tower. See if we can find out how we can get rid of Alpha Hound. Because this whole communication process is resting on this linchpin. Right? So, you two go and have fun. And we'll work out what needs to be done when we get back. Okay? Yeah, sure. And TarotGlow grabs onto Butterjoy's arms like, please, keep an eye out on them. We still don't know if they're being watched or whatever. Of course they will. I'm going to protect them with my fucking life. And let's go. And with that, he, like, picks up his sword, like, puts it in his back or whatever, his trusty katana. I think at this point, we need to give the sword a name. I'm not going to go with like a standard name. I'm going to go for a handle name as a source of inspiration. Using the handle names to decide what it could be. 49. Yes, 49 gives us dead. I mean, that's quite apt for what we've been doing with the sword at the moment. So actually, I'm just going to let the sword be called Dead. And in fact, it's not going to be in English, it's going to be in Japanese. Because why the fuck not? I don't know what Japanese for dead is, or death. But let's find out.
Shinda.
Shinda. What sounds cooler, dead or deaf? Si. We'll go for Shinda. Japanese for dead, or at least according to Google Translate anyway. So we take our sword, we've got our guns and things. This being Night City in Japantown and beyond, possibly. Bulletspeed takes whatever guns that they have with them. Obviously, they're not going to take the assault rifle because that's a bit fucking overkill. That's just asking for trouble and drawing too much attention to themselves. I think it's likely at this point that Butterjoy would at least mention his true intentions, not to want to feel embarrassed around company, because I think he's already a bit embarrassed because TarotGlow kind of worked out what was going on. He's sort of racing through his thoughts, like thinking that Bulletspeed's been having lots of fun thinking about Butterjoy as well. So I say that it's likely he's going to make his intentions clear, that this is not just them going out, that this is actually a date. So let's just see what we get. 90, yeah. He does. So they're leaving the room, going down the stairs, and he goes, Morgan? Yeah? What is it? You do know that this isn't just, you know, going out together, you know, as friends. And I think, you know, Morgan's not that naive to know exactly what's going on, especially the fact that we have essentially ascertained that they have the emotional response to feel horny. And they go, I know. And they're nodding excitedly with smiling, and it sort of brings like a sort of warmness to Butterjoy's face. Like, oh, that's good then. And I think that in the eagerness of things, Bulletspeed will offer out their hand, and they're going to hold their hands together like a fucking couple, which I think is so fucking sweet. Which is probably going to get ruined now, because I know there is a DLC supplement about going on dates and romancing, because Artel Story are quite intuitive and know that today's player base are fucking horny assholes. So, we are now going to roll on a series of tables to see what exactly they get up to in Night City on this date. Might skip some of the tables out because I know some of it's to do with like the sort of like date that you have, but I've never used this before, so this will be very interesting to see what exactly happens. The supplement in question is Digital Dating in the Dark Future. Where is your date? Roll even or odds, then D10s to determine your date's location. Before I do that, I actually want to do a separate roll on the Oracle table. Do we just have a date in Old Japantown? Or, actually, is that one of the things that are mentioned here? Yes, it is. Okay, so Old Japantown. Is this, do we have our date within Japantown, or do we go like outside beyond into Night City? I actually think it's almost certain that we just stay in Japan City, because that was something that Butterjoy would really like, and I think because of all the lights and things that they've seen from the windows of the car and their home, I think they just want to stay there, just explore what it's like during the daytime. So I actually think that it is certain, but you never fucking know with these things. I'm going to use a D100 and see what we get. 97, so yeah, they're staying in Old Japantown. So roll a D6, what are we going to get? I'm going to use the pink romance die here. 3, sing karaoke in an all-concrete building. Great acoustics. Oh, that is so fucking sweet, and very stereotypical Japanese pastime as well. At least if anime and TV shows have anything to go by. Yeah, being a musician, I think that makes sense. That I actually like the idea that Morgan suggests that to Butterjoy as a very childish, oh look, it's a music thing, let's do the music thing together. And I think it's going to be real funny to see how well the fucking singer he is, but just because he makes music as a producer doesn't necessarily mean he's a good singer. I'm going to roll Wardrobe and Style, which I've just realised after all this time I've spelt incorrectly. Because they can't really sing, and I think they're just going to try and like show off and like have a good time and at least be somewhat competent, but it's more like they're trying to be cool and flashy with it, which is not the best role for me, simply because it's not a high stat, and because I'm now actually going to decide he can't fucking sing. I'm going to say this is difficult. So we need 5 and higher. We got 5 exactly, which is nice. So he's singing competently. I'm going to roll on the adjective table, just to come up with a sort of song that it is, like tempo, theme, whatever, and like bullshit from there. So what was that? 53 gives us kind. Okay, I'm going to roll that again, because that doesn't really give us like things to do with tempo. I'm thinking like it's a bit slow and relaxed, I guess. And 59 is nocturnal. Okay. For some fucking cursed reason, I'm thinking Barry fucking Manilow. Not saying it is that, but I'm thinking like stripped back, sort of like jazzy, sleazy, like couple sort of thing. Real fucking cringy shit. So I'm going to do the same thing now with Morgan, Bulletspeed, to see how well that they do. Which actually begs the question, are they actually a good singer? Or can they fucking sing? I'm going to do that with the Oracle, because we don't know if they fucking sing or have anything to do with music. I would say that it is unlikely, like, they would have much relation with music other than what we've just experienced and, like, listening to things. But we do know they are human, but, you know, I don't think there'll be much of an interest prior to this, so... I have to say, this relationship has gone very fucking quickly, from meeting less than 2 weeks ago to... them like constantly robbing one out. 95 unlikely. Fucking hell, they can fucking sing. So I'm going to do this as a simple thing for them, just for how high the number was. 1. Oh, that's not good. But we still could do this actually. So basically, if they roll a I don't remember how much they got to roll, but they still could do this. 3. So they've seen it really well, but they don't think it's at their best. And I think just because they're like caught in the emotion of everything, like Butterjoy is like, oh my god, Morgan, that was beautiful. It's like, no, it wasn't. I made mistakes here. The timing was off. It's like, no, stop it. It was really good. You're being too hard on yourself. And I think they actually could lean a bit more into like this sort of perfectionist like mindset that they've essentially been bred to have. And I think Butterjoy does do their best to play safe themselves or thing, like to make them feel a bit better and like stop being so hard on themselves. So at that end, I'm going to do a persuasion thing, a contested persuasion thing. 4, again 15, and yeah, basically they have to lose this in order for us not to be convinced. 5, yeah, 19, so they're just not really taking it on board. I think they definitely appreciate the kindness, but they still think that they fucked up. But you know, so little downer notes are not great, but you know, they had lots of fun singing, they appreciate the praise. You know, it's just Morgan's been a bit too hard on themselves. Alright, so we've done that activity now, so go to how your date goes, which doesn't give a fucking page number. Your time has come for your date, and it will be a good or a weird one. Roll 1d10. Okay. So I see that other tables here, so it's going to carry on a little bit, so it's not like it's going to end here, hopefully. 7. On a 5 to 8, you have a weird date. Okay, so go to the weird date beginning. So it started off with the karaoke. Oh, God. Weird date beginning. Something's off about the vibe. Here, roll 1d6. So I'm assuming that the karaoke is where most of the dates happen. So we've done like the general sightseeing, like, oh, look at that pretty food, om nom nom, little light conversation stuff. And most of what's going to be happening now is going to be here at the karaoke bar, unless the tables dictate differently. Because as I said, I have not looked at this at all before. I saw a bit of an actual play that employed some of this once, but of course there's so many different fucking tables, I could only see so much. So we're going to roll 1d6 and see what we come up with. 1. They tell you about 3 of their most recent tragic romances. Roll 3 times on your tragic love affair table. Okay, so they've been in relationships before. Okay, that definitely changes things up a little bit. I don't know how much I will roleplay this, but wow, that's a fucking surprise and a half. See, this is why I love rolling random tables, because you get weird fucking shit like that, because I just had it in my mind that this was the very first time, or one of the few times they've been in a relationship, but as I keep underestimating, they are human, they have had some decorum of living, they just like had a shit life in the Kang Tower, like being... So this is a D10 table, we roll that 3 times. 4, a personal goal of vendetta came between you and your lover. So, kind of like us, then. 10. Your lover is imprisoned or exiled. Fucking hell. In the Kang Tao facility as well. Which actually makes me think like some fucking Big Brother sort of thing. And 8. Your lover was killed in a fight. Okay. So I think the way that this comes like pretty much straight after the conversation, about their relationships or whatnot, it's like it's okay, like no one, I'm not going to judge you or anything, like I'm not Kang Tower. It's like, and then that's when they just sort of go off like, oh, they are with somebody who was put their career before everybody else, and somebody was died, and this, that, and the other, and doesn't like, just sort of like trailing off very quickly, not really thinking about it, putting the filter up, and they just let them go at it, you know, with the little round their little table with the drinks or whatever, music's playing in the background. They sort of get out of sight. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said all of that. It's no, and they hold their hand carefully. It's like, it's okay. Thank you for trusting me, for sharing that with me. I'm just sorry that you went through all of that, even though he's genuine in that response. But it's a bit, what's a fucking weird thing just to fucking unload on someone. And I think there's like a part of him thinking that like he was the first. I think because he just made presumptions about her lifestyle, that this just wasn't something that she had much experience with, that they had much experience with, sorry. So the date carries on, and I've seen a couple more songs. They just chat and have some drinks around this karaoke bar, presumably. What the hell is going on here? Roll 1d6 and 4. Your date likes Smash a lot, also Synth Coke, but you aren't sure. You know what? I'm just going to roll that again, just because I am not vibing with that with the character. I can't see her doing something like that, especially with the whole fucking perfectionist angle that we're rolling with here. 6. They talk about their family the entire time. You learn a lot. Roll on the original family background table and your family crisis table. You know what? That makes fucking sense. I think in most circumstances that would be a bit fucking weird, but I think we can actually learn a bit more about Morgan here. So page 49 and 50. Because I actually was a bit curious to see what their family lifestyle was like before all this, as minimal as it was. And because of the wording of the table, like, this is now just unprompted. It wasn't always like this, and they just sort of carries on. So the sort of family background that they had as a kid. Edge runners. Your home was always changing based on the parents' current job. You know what? I'm thinking that they were just sort of snatched up from someone. Like, I think it's quite likely that they were just on the move and they got into a fight and the kid was just a casualty, so to speak. And the family crises is another D10 roll, which is a 2. Your family lost everything through bad management. Okay, retcon that. I don't think the kid was snatched up. I think that Morgan was sold on. They needed to make ends meet, and these shitty edge runner parents literally sold their kids to Kane Tell to make ends meet. And I think Morgan is just getting very upset and tearful, obviously, and Butterjoy is just fucking angry and a bit taken aback, like all this fucking trauma dumping that's going on. It's like, Morgan, I'm so fucking sorry. Are they still alive? The parents, that is. Are they still alive? I think it's quite likely that they could have fucked off, but I also think that thank you for the good, thank you for paying off the debt, bang, sort of thing. So let's roll a D100 table, determine what's going on. 59, I think it's likely that they've fucked off. Yes, so yeah, they're alive and they've just moved on to greener pastures. I swear, if I ever see them again, you point them out and I'll fucking kill them. And Morgan's like, no, that won't solve anything. They're already dead to me. Fair enough. So, with that out of the way, a weird date end. This one for the history vids. How does it end? I'm hoping it's something quite nice, but as we're on the weird table, I don't think it will. So, let us see what happens. 1. They are really into you and want another date. Hey! Skip to do they say they want another date and aftermath sections. Okay, that's cool. Now, narratively speaking, this could make some sense because they're just sort of reminded of the dangers of everything and they want to distance themselves from everything. Your date's come to an end. Time to see. Roll evens or odds. It doesn't say what dice, so I don't think it fucking matters. So yeah, so evens, they want another date. I'm going to use the D6 as that's what we've been rolling. We got 6. Get in! We get another date. If evens, they say they want another date at the end of your first and promise to contact you. Which I would kind of hope so, as we're kind of living together. Go to the aftermath. Roll 1d10. I haven't read this yet, so I don't know what it says. 2. From 1 to 8, you haven't been ghosted, and they'll contact you again. Nice. Okay, well, I actually think that they say we're leaving the karaoke as like begins like to go into sundown sort of thing, and it's like, Pete, I'm so sorry. Like, this is meant to be a really nice date, and you have ruined it. It's like, no, you didn't ruin it. It was okay. No, it's not. Who goes on a? I just talked about all my trauma. Didn't hear anything about you the whole time. Morgan, I've been dying to learn more about you. So really, it couldn't have been any more perfect, and I was able to spend lots of time with you, and heard how great you fucking sing as well. Stop it. No, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, so it wasn't as good as you wanted it to be. But just turns out that that's just being really fucking good. So, if you think it's so bad, then you just got to make up and go take me out again. He gets really fucking cheeky with it. It's like, okay. Do they kiss? Do they kiss? I want to say that it's likely, but I'm going to be in the spirit of fairness and roll a 50-50 for it and see what we get with that. 69? Yes! 69 or 50-50 is a yes. So I've sort of ruined it a little bit, I'm sorry. There couldn't have been a better time for that role. I don't know who goes to kiss who first. I actually think it's going to be Butterjoy. And they go in for like a sweet little peck, and because of their blossoming romances, they go in for something that's a bit more intimate, something that's a bit longer. Wow. I think actually that's a really wholesome place to end the episode. You know, with all the action that we've had so far, it's nice that we had that bit of like that relaxation, the equivalent of the beach episode, as it were. There's the video title. But that was really sweet. We've got this blossoming like Edge Runners group together. Jolene, TarotGlow's liking us a bit more. We've got a relationship now between our Netrunner and Butterjoy, which is something I didn't expect coming into this. I don't think I've ever done anything with a romance and a solo play before. Duo stuff with my partner before, but that's kind of fucking obvious, isn't it? But this is... wow, this is really fucking cool. And next time we're gonna like make that big old push to try and weaken Kang Tao's like operations between them and the business stuff with Arasaka. See what we can do a bit more with Alpha Hound, and this of course is all the different family stuff that hasn't happened yet, and I'm very glad that it hasn't happened yet. And of course, if that does come up naturally during play, I will like integrate that as and when is. But it seems at the moment that we've got this thing with Alpha Hound going on at the moment. We've got 6 of our 8 tracks done for our album. We've only need 2 more to complete our 8-track EP, and we did 3 of them in this episode, which I think is really fucking cool. So hopefully within the next or 2 sessions we can have this all wrapped up one way or another, and unfortunately because of how fucking borged up Alpha Hound is, it will probably end up being a real fucking botched die in a ball of flaming glory. But hey, you never fucking know. We're sort of making the names of ourselves here, and I suspect that what happened in the Haywood dock has gotten round, and we've probably like uploaded the video under an anonymous source like this, like katana wielding nutter, and managed to like take them out, so to speak. And like, so I'm supposing that Kang Tao will probably are aware of them in that sense. You know, despite being ominous, it could only have been one fucking thing, but they're keeping their distance at the moment, that this was a failed operation, and they're now just moving on to greener pastures sort of thing. Like, yeah, I think that's how we're going to play it, unless something else comes up with an oracle roll where a surprise attack of some description may come up. So hopefully that doesn't happen, just things go as smoothly as possible. But this has been a really nice session. I hope you lot have enjoyed it. I know it's not been a lot of action. I know this has been sort of all over the place, this whole actual play. This is actually the longest season of the Playing With Diceself podcast so far. And it's just because I've been having so much fun with it, and my character has fucking survived and no one's died yet, which is amazing. So yeah, again, thank you ever so much, Artelson Games, for the review copy of single player mode. If this sounds really interesting to you and you want to play some Cyberpunk RED or 2020 using the official rules, because it's mostly tables in here that you can just drop and drag into any fucking Cyberpunk game, check out in the description below. You'll find this and a load of other Cyberpunk books. You'll find the whole 2020 and RED range down there, basically. And if you purchase them with those specific links, I get some of the money back because I'm an affiliate on Drive4RPG, and that sort of coinage will help to provide more content like this, where I go and purchase and play all sorts of really cool games for you to play. And it means that you get books and shit, I get books and shit, and you get content for free, which is absolutely based amazing shit. But what if you got all that shit already and you want even more? Go and find the affiliate code that's down there and copy and paste that into the URL of any Drive4RPG purchase before you add it to the cart, and that also helps with the coinage that way. And I know that time to harden all of us, so I'm not going to put a bounty on you if you can't do this. This is totally optional, but if you can do that, that would be absolutely preem. But if you can't do that, that's also preem. But what you should definitely do regardless is give the video a cheeky little thumbs up, subscribe to the Lord by Night channel, and share this video with any and everyone who loves what I do, and see you on the next upload, wherever that may well be for you. And until next time, farewell, tune.